Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And we have an amazing guest this morning. She's actually going to be taking the stage in Nashville. If you don't have your ticket to Nashville yet, my friends, let's get a dadgum link in the comments for you because you need to get on that. Just perhaps for this speaker, because she's so fantastic, a great teacher. As a matter of fact, you can find her on Instagram at Teacher to Marketer. Please help me welcome back for the 7th time to the show. Think about that for a second, my friends. 7 times on the show. She's going to tell us about her story, how she's got here, and what she's excited to talk about in Nashville. Welcome back to the stage and the show. Well, the virtual stage here. Steph Bruckshaw. What's up, Steph?
Hi, not much. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. What is going through your head right now that you are going to be speaking in Nashville at our mastermind on September 5th, 6th, and 7th?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's something that's been on my goal list since I started this. I was just like, I knew one day I would be up there, and I feel like it all falls into place and comes when it's supposed to. Like, you have a timeline of goals, and then I don't know, it's just kind of funny looking back to see like when you accomplished all of those things and to see like kind of a full circle moment of everything you've worked so hard for. I guess that's kind of a big thing. Like, you think it's so far out of reach when it's really not.
Yeah. No, it's not. And you're proving this. What do you think that you did that was really helpful, that if you could go back and do it all over again, you would do that again?
Yeah. It's definitely a big part of my personality, but I feel like when I set my mind to something, like I'm going to get there no matter what, no matter how long it takes. It's kind of how I've always been. So I definitely, when I started, like I didn't take this lightly. I wasn't like, oh, I'm just gonna buy something and just let it sit or not go through it. Like, I worked at it every single day. Like, I had a goal, even teaching full time was like, I'm going to do this an hour a day, like no matter what, at least. Because I feel like a lot of people start this and they think, I don't have the time to put into it. And it's not about having tons and tons of time. It's about a little progress, like eventually getting there. This isn't like something that you're going to flip over and do tomorrow. And I talked about that with people all the time. Like, hey, even if you have 20 minutes today, if you have a half an hour, like if you, like my hour a day, my husband would always say, even when I'd be down on myself about like, I wish I had, more time. He's like, Stephanie, in 60 days, like you'll have 60 hours working towards that. And I feel like that's something, like I would go back and do again, like you said, like always working at it no matter what. But also like people need to realize too, like when you start something like this, you're not just, the expert. You're not just, it's not just like flowing. Like it takes time. There are growing pains. There are hard things. And you still have to show up on those days when it's hard. So just that's a big part. I think I would continue. And, even when you're sick, even when you're tired, like you still got to show up. And no matter what it is that you're working on or posting, or you just do it, because it's better than the alternative, the staying stuck, the being unhappy, the knowing what you're going to be paid in the next 20, 30 years. It's just, I don't know, all of it's worth it to me. And it was worth the hard and the sacrifice and the tears and all the things.
I mean, was there really tears? I mean, what went on behind the scenes that we didn't see, that we would be shocked to know by you telling us? We just would have never expected it by looking at your videos or whatever out on the internet.
Oh, for sure. I talk about that in my live sometimes, definitely. But I would say the technology part really frustrated me for a while. But again, like you set it up once, like, like when things weren't going through correctly or wasn't getting, I don't even know the word right now, like verified, right? Like those types of things. And like, you have to wait 48 hours. And that comes from me, like that lack of patience, the waiting. So like just taking a break, walking away, coming back, like not giving up when those hard things happened. What else? I don't know. Like, I guess last year too, when things kind of happened, with being drugged through the mud a little bit with everything that we know that happened. Like, just my business was going up and up, and that's sales, that's business, that's marketing, like that ebbs and flows. But that was really hard to swallow when you see things going a certain direction and then they take a turn. My Facebook got hacked, so that was like 50 some thousand followers. There were a lot of tears that day, but again, taking a break, figuring
Did you get
it
that
out.
back?
I got it back. Yeah.
Okay.
I got it back.
Have you lost any accounts? Have you had any other accounts that got either whatever shadow banned, deactivated? Was there any other big blows, like kind of like the hacking situation?
Yeah, so I would say in March that happened, and then I think a lot of people it happened to, but my Instagram got restricted too. So I felt like it was just one thing after the other, like trying to figure things out, what to do next when that happens. And yeah, like, I mean, like I said, I don't cry like a lot, but you know, you like your eyes well up and you're like, okay, I was trying to work on this and now I'm backpedaling, trying to fix something else. And
right,
it's just, okay, now what's going to be, again, taking a break, and what's going to be that next step? How can I overcome? Because I can't control those things. I can't do it. All I can do is how can I try and fix it? How can I be somewhere else and be seen and keep my business going? So where else can you nurture?
So we've had masterminds in the past, obviously, and you're going to be speaking at this upcoming mastermind in Nashville. And I'm personally excited to have you and see you and give you that opportunity to teach us. So what are you going to show people? What is different in 2025, Steph? What is different that maybe people heard on stages or in trainings in 2024 that's just not as relevant anymore? And there's new stuff that's relevant. And so what is give people an example from your perspective of how the internet changes and how things are different now than maybe they even were at the beginning of the year?
Yeah. I would say, I mean, geez, June 6th, I'm coming up on like 2 years of doing this. So I've seen just a lot of changes, I feel like, in it just in 2 years, like people starting and disappearing. And gosh, I feel like you used to be able to kind of just post like when I first started, and I feel like the algorithms really pushed out just like a lot of content in general. But right now I feel like it's a little bit slower, like your views, like you really have to be intentional. You really have to dig into your story. I feel like storytelling's always been huge, but even more so than now, like, you know, tugging at people's feelings and emotions, and, you know, talking about the hard times and talking about the struggles and talking about the honesty. And I think that's always stayed true, but it's just different. Like, to get your content out there, to get seen, to be seen, that's a really big part of it, rather than just throwing a bunch of boring information out there. Or, you know, if we are edutaining, as you know, you've always said, just making the educational stuff instead of like boring and blah. You got to make it fun. You got to show your life. You got to show your personality in it. And I think those things are really, really like important now. Like, people aren't just going to buy from anybody. And there are a lot of imposter accounts out there. Like, I struggle with that a lot on Facebook and TikTok, I think. And they don't trust everything. So you got to be out there. You got to be showing yourself. You got to be going live. You got to be sending voice messages, like to build that trust with your audience. And I feel like that's something I've definitely noticed a lot more. Like in that, like even being restricted, like with that, like I really had to maneuver. Okay, how can I get my content still being out there? Like I made a backup account. I was cross posting with it, so it would still be shown to non-followers. Like just things like that.
Yeah, such good points. I mean, the restricted shadow banning, losing accounts. I mean, this is something that is like devastating when it happens, and it just really shows you. To me, it teaches you how you're going to handle situations, you know. And I also think that for me, everybody's content and everything's starting to look the same again. Like the quick cuts, the captions. I think that I was watching Sam Sulik's YouTube channel, just learning about some weightlifting and bodybuilding stuff. This is a 23-year-old kid from somewhere up in New England who basically came online in 2021 or something and just blew up into this, massive, I believe he's on steroids and open about it, which I think that's the big problem with steroids is when you're not open about it. I think I'm not a big bodybuilding guy, but I know Liver King, which we talked about a couple of shows ago, his big deal was that he was all jacked and saying he was natural, but he was really on roids. So I was watching this cat, digressing, I was watching this cat, Sam Sulik, and again, very normal dude, just sets his camera up in the gym or at home and just talks. No edits, no captions and all this, let's run it through cap cut and all it. None of that, man. Just good information. You know what I mean? And kind of a unique kind of dude to look at, right? I mean, he's jacked and everything. But here's why I say this is because there's no edits. There's nothing fancy. It's just raw behind the scenes footage. It's actual full, no edits, no grunts. I mean, sounds weird. You're like, is he, you kind of got to look at the TV. What's going on over there? Right? Like all of it. And so for me, I think that, like, I wonder how that makes you all feel if I say that you might do a lot better by worrying a lot less about edits and it being perfect. Does that give you guys more anxiety or does it give you less? Because, right, how does that make you feel if you think about less production, more storytelling, right? More of the kind of content that's quick, but just like, does that give you more anxiety to talk more freely and more openly and more free flowing? Or does that give you more anxiety at the thought of that? Because I know a lot of people have a lot of anxiety about the kind of free flow, not having a script or whatever.
Are you asking me personally?
Yeah, I want to know how you feel, and I want to know how everybody else feels about that too, in the comments as well.
Yeah, I do fine going live, like speaking freely. That doesn't bother me. But I mean, I've been going live once a week for well over a year, so that part doesn't bother me. I feel like when I'm making my content, it does bother me like a little bit more because you only have so much time to get in what you're going to say. So if it's filled with your and whatever, I type it out. I have a script. I film myself. And that way I just know what I want to say will get across in my content. But it doesn't bother me going live. Like there's a lot of sometimes like dead zones.
And he's also doing YouTube videos. So that's one of the things to consider is his focus is long form, not particularly short form as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I don't really do like super long form content. Like my longest is, the 3-minute reels on Instagram. And I don't even go like beyond that on TikTok. Like I know you can on TikTok go way longer, but yeah, my longest talking is a live, but I go live for an hour. So, and especially going live on a backup account right now, like I'm talking to myself a lot more, like rebuilding that. So yeah. I have key points of things I'm going to talk about that day and I can just do that. But I'm also I used to, teach.
Be a teacher, right?
Talking 8 hours to
what advantage do you have as a teacher that you could share with other people that they may be able to improve on that you think gave you an edge by being a teacher?
Yeah. Gosh, a lot of skills. I mean, just being able to talk, like continuing talking, even when it's silent. Like, I don't know if you've ever been in a room of 10-year-olds, but sometimes they just stare at you. So talking.
So do adults. So do adults, Steph. You're going to see that in Nashville.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. So wait time, being uncomfortable in the silence. Like, I know it's weird, but sometimes like, even when you were learning to be a teacher, they're like, you have to like count in your head. Like you can't just like talk over people. You got to give them time, like to process, to think. And so I feel like that's really important because people want to fill the silence and it's okay. It's weird. It's okay. It's quiet. And yeah, just like practicing. If you need to practice talking, then practice even just filming your videos over and over, or practice talking to your phone, or just go live and be uncomfortable that it's weird. It is weird. Like for a while, you're staring at yourself. Like So I don't know, just practicing those skills,
I
I would
love
say there's
that.
the big ones because those lead into your public speaking and being able to talk online.
Yeah. And I actually think you just touched on one of the most important pieces, which is being okay with silence.
Mhm.
And it's not rushing your words out all the time on live either.
Mhm.
Because people actually, when they're listening to your videos, if it seems like you're like uncomfortable, anxious, trying to get it all to them because you're desperate that you're not going to get it all out, no, make them wait on you for you to deliver the words.
Mhm.
Don't wait on them to come and then hope they won't leave. Take control of the live, take control of the room. And what I found, I just love that you brought this up because this is big for the stage in person as well. You'll see me do this. Well, you have because you've been to masterminds, but use silence in the room, use tonality. And a lot of times when you stop and pause, people actually lean in and listen more closely. Whereas I think a lot of people's tendency when they get on video is to try to hurry and to try to like get it all out because I don't want to take any more of your precious time. Don't worry. They're on the internet wasting time anyways. Don't worry about it. Take your time and draw them in with the tonality differences, the change of pace too. See, I can get really excited and start throwing action. Holy shit, give me something to throw. And then it's like, but then I laid down and I felt this overwhelming feeling of excitement. That change in pace and tonality is also a tool, and it works just as good, folks, on your like lives as it does public speaking. This is a great way. As a matter of fact, how much more prepared do you think you are to take the stage in Nashville because you've practiced so much on live
Yeah,
and on camera?
I definitely feel prepared. I mean, there's always nerves there, but I mean, the nerves are there, the adrenaline to like, you want to do well. So like, I don't know. I take that and I think about that. Like, yes, I have all the public speaking skills. I won't be talking to 10-year-olds anymore. I'll be talking to full adults, but I know how to, I don't know, I guess run that like just an hour of time. Like like I said, I used to have to do it for like 8 hours. So I can feel, I got to make sure I can only be in an hour. Like, am I going to not, am I going to talk too much?
I love that.
So I don't know. I feel prepared in that aspect. Like I feel nerves thinking about it, but if I know like the public speaking thing scares a lot of people, but you have to think you're nervous anytime you do something for the first time. You want to do well. It comes down to anything. Like if you ever did sports, competitive sports, you posted for the first time, everything makes you nervous and that's where you grow. So, but I feel prepared to be able to come on and share my knowledge, and it's things you know about. You should be able to talk about things that you know about with ease. So
I think that's a big issue with people is getting into a zone of talking about things that you know about and tying, if you're, for example, talking in the online marketing space, for example, or you're talking about dog training, to use your own personal experience in your own personal stories to sort of tie in what you're talking about. You don't particularly have to be super knowledgeable about the topic. I wasn't when I first came into this business, and there's still a lot of things that I don't know. If you listen to all of my content, it's more from my experience than it is from random facts. And so the secret, I think, for me was to not try to learn everything at the beginning before I started creating content, but instead try to take a few of the simple concepts of what I'm teaching. And no matter what niche I'm in, friends, right? Listen closely. This is big. And use those points to hammer home over and over again maybe 2 or 3 main points. And for me, it was like I was marketing to network marketers, Steph. So it was stop chase. Are you tired of chasing friends and family? You need to learn how to generate leads online. That was the big like idea. And then it was like 2, 3 other ideas. Let me show you like how the tools or the what, right? Like what you're going to use. And then I would sell them the how, right? And then I can take my life and experience and tie it into these 2 or 3 points. And I think some of you get overwhelmed thinking that you have to know everything about something before you start creating content. How did you deal with that, Steph?
So I definitely took more time to like learn things. Like I like to be educated if I'm going to come on and talk about something, but I tell people that everyone does it differently. It's just going to depend on you and your personality. So like I needed my things set up in the back end, and that just comes from the organization in me. Like I couldn't just start posting without all of my back end stuff done. So it took me longer, and it did. And I tell people that, like, are you the type of person who can just learn as you go and start posting and figure it out? That would make me really anxious. I took time to, learn more about it, really make sure my stuff was set up really good, make sure all of my social media was ready to go. And then I started posting. But I think people think that there's one way to do something, and there's not. Like you're becoming an entrepreneur. You can do this however you want. Like you just have to show up and do it and be consistent. And there's no right or wrong way. The only wrong way is to quit and not do it. Then
Yeah, I mean, and that's true with like any business, right? I mean, the ultimate failure is quitting. It feels like failure.
mm-hmm.
Everything feels like failure. All successes and wins feel like failure as think about a really good football game
Mm-hmm.
or basketball game, right? Man, you're struggling so hard. You don't even know how it's going to turn out. You're just working so hard. You're playing so hard. I'm so into the NBA playoffs right now, and I am every year when they happen. And I just was watching the Indiana Pacers just out hustle and outplay the New York Knicks, and it hurt my heart because I was rooting for New York, but I just couldn't deny the effort. And you may have an idea if you're going to win or lose, but each team plays all out until the end. And I do think that that's a lot like business. You cannot at halftime predict whether you're going to be successful or not.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do that on a macro or a micro level. I can't do that. I don't have a crystal ball. Yeah. I can launch stuff. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't always know. I also can't post a video or do something, send an email and prejudge. An hour later, 2 hours later. I did this in the beginning of my career. I posted a video. It hasn't gotten any views or likes or comments. Take it down an hour after. Take it down. Call in the troops. Take this failure down, right? And now I've seen over the years that sometimes a video doesn't even pop off for a couple of hours. There's other things I can do with it to wear it. And maybe the 5 people that saw it, 2 of them are going to buy. Mm-hmm. I think we all have an obsession with prejudging. Mm-hmm. And we need to do it to feel safe. We want to know what's going to happen. And I think that lack of control drives us crazy. How did you embrace it?
Gosh, in teaching, you don't have a lot of control either. So maybe I was just used to it. But you have to learn how to work through it. And I kind of compare like your social media views to test scores. Like you might think it's going one way, and like if a student tested badly, like it's kind of the same thing. So you have to keep doing it. Like I go back to what I was saying earlier, you just have to keep doing it. You have to keep showing up. And things do eventually get better. But again, this is business, this is marketing, this is sales, and it's always going to be up and down. And that's just something you have to kind of learn to figure out and swallow that. Like, it's not always, business is not just like this straight uphill thing once you get it. No matter what, there's always going to be some kind of curveball.
Yeah.
And I don't know if a lot of you guys listen to the Hormozis, but like, that's one of the big things he talks about. Like, if you feel like you're failing, that's entrepreneurship. That is, you're doing something right. Like, there's always going to be a challenge. And if there isn't, then your business isn't growing. You're not growing. And I think that's just something I've really had to like learn and work on, because coming from teaching, you know, there is so much structure, but there is that unknown with tests and how kids are going to act. And so I take that into here. And my husband's in sales and business, so, you know, he brings me down too. Like, he's always been in it. So
I know he's your hostage negotiator when you have yourself hostage.
yeah,
right? And you're holding yourself to some unrealistic standard or beating yourself up. You got a great support partner in your husband. Shout out to him. I forgot his name, but it's what?
Yeah.
Mitch?
Mitch, yeah.
Mitch. Shout out Mitch.
Yes.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
So he helps me a lot with those things too. You know, especially when you're in the lows, when those things are happening and you're like, everything was going so well and now it's not. And he's like, that's normal. Like, it will. Like, he's like, what can you do? What can you do next? And that is huge. Like, even thinking into the challenge, when you guys have mindset on day 4, like, people overlook that. That's the biggest thing when it comes to this. It is the thing that kills everybody who gives up on it. It is like, there are things that I will go through. Like, Meta did not let me put any more support tickets in because I put so many in when my Facebook got hacked.
How dare them?
I know. He's like, what can you do? I was like, well, I just have to wait. Like, but people would give up. Like, oh, I lost 56,000 followers. Oh, I lost this. And it's like, but what can you do? What can you work on in the process? And he would be like, a lot of people would give up, like, getting things, you know, Facebook being hacked and Instagram being taken down. My TikTok's on the last leg of being banned. Like, those are just, you know, and they're my platforms. And what can I do next? How am I going to fix it? And people have to know that there are going to be problems, and you have to learn how to overcome them and not let them stop you if you really want it.
Yeah. Yeah. And David Abba Gomi said, you know, lack of control drives us crazy. It does. And I love Mitch, lessons from Mitch. Everybody needs a Mitch. Mitch is talking you off. What can you do? It's like, it's like what you did with your 10-year-old. Well, what can you do? We need that though. Sometimes we are 10-year-olds inside a lot of times, and starting a business is going to trigger your deepest insecurities, just like getting into a relationship is going to expose your flaws. And you have to know that going in, expect challenge. If I knew how hard and how much I was going to have to grow 16 years ago when I started this, and you listed that out, I'm not entirely sure that I would have took you up on this, to be honest, because it has been more growth than what I expected. And the reward has been well worth it. What rewards include financial? Just how has your life changed in 2 years?
I mean, significantly. I mean, I'm not in the classroom anymore. Like, I'm not getting up at 5:30 in the morning to, you know, have to commute to work and be at work all day and come home exhausted. Like, I used to suffer from migraines severely, and leaving teaching helped. Like, you know, where I'd be sick all the time, and now I don't have to do that. Like, I had a vision of what I want my life to look like. And I feel like we lose that as we get older, because we get stuck. We get stuck in this societal, like, 9-to-5 rat race. And we miss out on everything life is important about. And I have that now. Like, you know, I'm not in the classroom. I get to spend the day at home with my dogs, and, you know, they're not at home all day alone in a kennel. And my husband and I now get to travel all the time. Like, before, we would always have to say no. I could only travel during my breaks. And, you know, people give teachers so much crap for having breaks, but they don't realize, like, we work a year in the 9 to 10 months, and we only can take that time off. That's it. Like, so, and it's the most expensive time to go anywhere. So now I can do that wherever. Like, I have been like 7 places since January already. If I was still teaching, I would have been nowhere. I would have had to wait. Summer break would literally be I would still be at work today.
Yes,
My
you
summer
would.
wouldn't start till tomorrow.
It just got
And I
out. Yeah.
find myself thinking that, like, I'll be sitting even to this day, even though it's almost been 2 years. Wow, I would be teaching small group reading right now. I would be counting down the hours till I was going to drive home. And like I coached too. So my weekends were full.
Volleyball, right?
Yeah, I coached volleyball, club volleyball. So I was in a gym on Saturday, and Sunday for 12 hours, So it's crazy what we put on, and we're made to think. Like, I love volleyball. I still play to this day. We played for 8 years, sand volleyball league. But to think my life revolved around getting up, going to work, and even the weekends were work. And you'd never see the people that you love, the people we're doing this for. And I feel like those are the biggest things, even though, I make more than I did teaching. And that was a really big deal to me. Like, it is being able to contribute, being able to feel like I don't have to be taken care of, in a sense. Like, we're a team. Like, my husband and I's like marriage will always be, we are a team. But I still just had that feeling like, I don't want to feel like I'm this thing drug along. And teaching, like, I just knew that this would, what I'd be making. So just the change is just being able to spend time with the ones you love, not feeling like you have to miss things, weddings. My sisters are having, kids. Like, I can be there. I can step in. They're going to work, and I can go and watch their kids and work from their house. Like, so I don't know. It's not just you make more money, but you get so much more back, and putting that into perspective, and just thinking, like, putting in that work, a hard work for 2 to 5 years for that lifetime of freedom. Like, that is just, it's one of my husband's favorite lines. 5 years of pain for a lifetime of, like, glory, or whatever, but
Mitch,
it really is. So,
Mitch coming with the heat.
Yeah, here you go. He should be here. No, he's that way.
Yeah. Roxy, let's book Mitch, please.
Yeah.
For real, dude.
He'll be there at the mastermind. So you want
for real?
Mitch wisdom. Yeah.
I love that. I can't wait to meet him. Kim Ballum said something that's interesting. We're going to end with this question. We're going to leave some to be desired for Nashville. My friends, get your ticket. Kim Ballum said, teachers are saints. How they get that many kids to listen while I can't even get 2 to listen is a superpower. So tell us, Steph, how can we get more adults to listen? And how are adults like maybe more like kids in terms of capturing their attention than we think?
Online or on the stage.
Is that going to be a stage answer?
On the stage, I mean, those people are there. They want to be there. Like, I think that's a little bit easier. I mean, kids don't always want to be at school.
Yeah, you got them locked in a room, right? But I'm talking about like on the internet. Like,
on the internet.
Are adults, like, do you find, like, one thing that I could think of off the top of my head would be like props.
Yeah.
Like, kids love props and adults love props. Like, that's one thing that works whether you're 8 or 80, right? Yeah. That's kind of what I mean.
For sure. Yeah. If you're talking content driven, I mean, it definitely comes down to what you have to say and then the things around you. So that's why I always say, like, showing your life, showing what you do, like, it's really important. Like, we moved into a new house. So people are really into that and seeing parts of our house and what's going on and what's the newest thing we did. So showing that. So like you said, visuals, like, I'm a female. So like, I think a lot of girls, like, what am I wearing? How you did your hair that day or how you did your makeup.
My jewelry stack. Yeah. I found this girl last night. I don't know how I came across her. We never do. We just, before you know it, we're buying stuff and we're like, how the hell? But yeah, she was all about like bracelet stacks. Yeah. And like, I don't even know that she was selling anything. She was just passionate about it. And her concept was, I'll do the shopping for you so you don't, and like model the stuff. And she was, just a unique little thing. It was all her content was just about jewelry stacks. Like,
yeah. just those visuals, like what people like and relate to. I had someone, I was watering a plant in my video yesterday and wanted my planter. like it's just kind of funny what catches their attention, but then they also read your message. So don't overlook, like you said, like the visuals, like everything is a hook, or the transitions in your videos and moving clips. And it just is, you have to catch people's attention in different ways. And it's not just sitting there and I don't know, I don't want to say boring, but it is, if you just sit there, like show things, say things that surprise people.
Be provocative.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I lied. I got one more question. You've been in the audience. Now you're going to be taking the stage. You don't particularly have that perspective yet, but you're smart enough to know what that's kind of going to be like, and kind of know why somebody should come to an event, like from that perspective, like to hear you speak. That's obvious. You guys should come to hear Steph. You should come to hear Kim. You should come to hear me, for God's sakes. Maybe I'll say something intelligent. But why, from an audience perspective, like being at a mastermind, sitting, like not what are you excited to speak about? Why should people come from your perspective as coming as a attendee? Why should people be there from your perspective of attending as an attendee to a mastermind?
Yeah, I really think people should consider or reconsider, because I was kind of like that. I think I said that when you guys had me on Wake Up Legendary right after the last mastermind. Like, I was like, I'm not going unless I'm speaking. Like, that was my mindset, something I had to work on. And even if that's not your goal, or you're like, I don't want to spend money to do this, it's worth every penny to be there. Not only are you getting to go somewhere new, listen to speakers, like learn, build your business, but the people you meet, like, I just think the networking, like, part of it, like getting to talk to people, I do think like that part is huge. And you get to ask questions and people take time and talk to you. And it's not just like, the phone is lonely. Like, if all you're relying on is to build this business and just be glued to your phone, like, that's so lonely. Like, you got to reach out to people. You got to go and do these things. And you grow even more when you push yourself. Like, I met people at the other mastermind. It was the first time on an airplane. Like, just, you got to push yourself outside that comfort zone to grow. Like, you aren't just going to build something sitting on your phone and not getting out there and talking and bouncing ideas. Like, just because one way works for you, there might be something out there you learn going to this event or meeting someone that opens a door for you. Like, I don't think people understand how powerful that is when you start connecting and getting people's phone numbers. And when something happens, now I'm texting, I'm like, I text Kim, I text Ashley. Like, there are girls I talk to on a regular basis about this because I went there and I met them in person, and you have that relationship. Yeah. And just the time you get with people and making content together. And again, it might just sound silly to you, but it's just a bigger deal and more eye-opening, I think, than people can even realize unless they experience it.
Come and shake a hand, friends, like me and Steve here. Okay. One of my main men at the last mastermind. I was just scrolling through, grabbing a couple of pics of the mastermind. But anyways, it just kind of what you were talking about there. Come meet people, come network. And most of all, like, learn how to have fun. Yeah. Like, I had to freaking learn how to have fun in this business, man. I had to realize that the events and traveling was one of the most fun parts of this business. That's what I had to learn that. And I wanted to travel, and I didn't really see how I could kind of melt the two together until I started going to, and then eventually doing events. And I've seen more cities, states, places in this country from events that I have gone to than vacations I have taken. In so many years, my vacations have been business events because I've been fulfilled or I've bolted something on to the trip. like a couple of extra days in Nashville. I stayed a couple of extra days in Austin. I stayed a couple of extra days in New Orleans. Right? So it's like I have had all of these experiences over 16 years of hanging out in some of the coolest cities. I've been to Singapore with my business. I've been to Costa Rica with my business. I've been to Europe with my business. I've been all over the world because of my business.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I can come up with, of course, with the guidance of a professional CPA, which I am not, nor am I a financial advisor or anything else. But what I do is consult intelligent professionals who are licensed to give me that advice. And I figure out ways to make my business adventurous and have personal, a lot of benefit and memories from my business trips. So they have personal gain to them. Not obviously the things I'm doing personally, but I get to write those trips off if I'm doing business on those trips, right? Yep. And again, consult, figure it out. If you're going to be in business, get a CPA, ask ChatGPT, figure out what you can do, what you can write off, how you can save, how you can, everything that I have, I use for business. And it's a write-off. Even my education, it's a write-off. My coaching, all the things that I do to invest in myself are also, they're things that I get to write off too. So making money is also about understanding how to properly leverage your tax benefits and rights as an American citizen. And there's just so many, it's not a cost, it's an opportunity. So we say all that to say, meet us in Nashville.
For sure. It'll be a good time.
Totally. Well, hey, thanks for your time once again. It's never taken for granted. So thank you for coming back, spending some time with us today, giving back as you have many times before. And I'll be grateful as you continue to do, especially in Nashville. And I'm excited for you to do that. All right.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you later, Steph. Stay legendary, my friend. Bye. All right, my friends. Love Steph. And she has got a lot of great things to teach and show you, and get to Nashville, meet her, right? Come meet her, as well as all of the other people, many of whom are in the comments right now. We'll be there, me, Ryan, our team, the other speakers, other marketers in the room who, like Steph, they get over their egos. They say, yeah, you know what? I want to come learn. I can relate to that. I'm not coming unless I'm me. I can relate to that. And then you just get out of your own way and you go and you learn some stuff, right? And you meet some people. And then guess what? Opportunities get presented. It's weird. It's amazing. Half the battle is suiting up and showing up, perhaps more. Perhaps more of the battle is suiting up and showing up. I learned this when I was getting clean from heroin. I know I talk about this a lot, but this is an example of me pulling in a personal story to something, right? But I just realized that half the battle was showing up. Just suiting up and showing up. And if I just suited up and showed up, which meant I put my pants on, I got my shoes on, I went to a meeting, I did whatever I had to do. I called somebody. That's what I did back then. In business today, well, I pull my ass up on this show every morning at 10 a.m., don't I? Last time I checked, I have for the last 1,500 episodes. So suit up, show up, my friends. Get your booties to Nashville. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode. It's going to be a big week. We got a new AI challenge launching, and it's fire. Get ready. Stay legendary. It's like,